We're live. I feel like we're back in the swing of things almost. Like the season is
We're
so
getting there.
close, I can smell it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What are we like 17 days away from?
We are Trocheck days away.
We are Trocheck days away. I love it. I love it. Somehow we're only one game into the season, and this team is already stressing me out. There have been injuries. There was a pretty lousy loss the first preseason game against the Bruins. So hopefully
They're quick on that one.
I feel like the Rangers this year should be sponsored by like blood pressure medication. That was my first thought after watching the game a couple of days ago.
I know we're going to create stress kits, anti-stress kits, stress kits. Okay, it's just liquor.
Exactly.
We got to get our drink pairings going too. I'm like,
yes, we do.
You're doing this?
Yes, we do. I mean, I guess we officially start with the drink pairings when the season kicks off.
We'll do a live drink pairing when I'm there on Thursday.
Yes, absolutely. So for those of you who are just joining us, welcome to Double D-Fense. We are an all-female hockey podcast. We are two New York Rangers fans and a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. It's been a minute since I've done this intro, hasn't it?
You're still good at it.
We are still in season 2. We're going to kick off officially with season 3. Which is very exciting when the season kicks off in Trocheck days. So thank you for coming along with us. We do have a couple of fun hockey things to cover, even though the season hasn't started yet. I think we wanted to talk.
We're in practice mode here, so that's good. You know.
And if this is your first time and you haven't listened to us last season, we do a drink pairing with every single game of the regular season. So we will partner up your New York Rangers game with an appropriate drink of choice, depending on our moods, who they're playing, and our general thoughts about life in general on that day.
And we're definitely looking for sponsors. So we'd love to kind of have you join and share that, the drinks I've kind of last season. Not only do we do some fun drink pairings, so I'm looking for kind of more, it gets very creative, in what we do, which I love, so my search history on some of those games was not good. Oh, do they make We Suck beer? And they do. So
can we do like a vodka with a blood pressure tablet dissolved into it?
They sell those like little blood infusion bags that you put your liquor in. Like, we should just infuse it directly into the veins right there. We're good.
Hello, Michelle. We have Michelle who is watching us from Florida. She's counting the days till I guess the Panthers start playing again. And now the Panthers have an excuse to up their ticket prices because they did so well last year. So all the ticket prices have now gone up.
Ooh, can't wait for that. The drink prices. Yay.
We should have a mixologist on one day, or maybe occurring visitor. Maybe they can make special drinks for us and our needs for like the We Suck beer or We Suck drinks or what have you.
I love that.
Yeah. Let's do that.
I love it.
Creating ideas for future events on the spot. That's what we do.
All the time. So we have a couple of things to cover. I think, Christine, you had seen that there have been some interesting rule changes to the game this year.
I have to put my glasses for this. Yeah, I did. So I'm going to pull them up real quick and we'll go over a couple of them. Let's go. We'll go over them real quick. So offsides, we're going to see a big change. This is interesting. So during delayed offside, any attacking player who's in the attacking zone, in the defensive zone, who goes to the bench, will automatically, put them outside the zone because he'll be considered to have cleared the zone when both skates are off the ice. So, and that, I guess that tends to be that the player's bench tends to extend over into the attacking zone. So in other words, if anyone goes to leave the ice on a delay penalty, then they have to all get out of the zone. Otherwise, it's an offside. Whatever. I'm gonna look for that to be called because we're trying to keep up. Because last year they had so many weird calls that I'd never seen before, like face-off things, like if they touch the puck. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. So that'll be interesting. Next one was
this is one of those rules that I'm gonna have to read 800 times. I loved in Ted Lasso when the whole season he's trying to understand well, the whole show he's trying to understand what offsides is in soccer. So
yeah, when the ball goes in front of you, I'm like, but it can go in front of you here, but not here.
yeah, exactly. And the way this is worded is confusing.
I know. Well, that's
but I'll read it 17 more times and still not understand it.
And why is it only during an offside or delayed offside? You know, if during a delayed offside, attacking player chooses to proceed to the player's bench, he shall be considered to have cleared the zone.
When both skates are off the ice.
So instead of going outside the zone to clear the zone, he can go to the bench. That's it.
But he has to have both skates off the ice.
Yeah. Good luck. I mean, the refs are so keen; they're going to notice that.
You mean the lines people?
Well, the lines people. Yeah, that's down there. That's down a ways. And in the minor changes. So, all right. So that one's just like, okay, so they can either go over the line or exit. So that works. That's kind of wimpy, but whatever. Coach's challenge. I didn't really know all the rules to the coach's challenge, but as we do this, we learn more and more. If the puck exits the play without officials noticing, what does that tell you about our line people? If they don't notice the puck leaves the ice, it leaves the whole thing. Then the coach can challenge regardless of which team sent the puck out of play. So
that seems fair. Like if the lines people are not paying attention, yeah, absolutely.
So, and I think the challenge there is like if it's delayed, a delayed game penalty or something like that. So, but I don't really see that as like when they're not paying attention to stuff. But okay, so that allows for more reasons for coach challenge. So is somebody counting those? Because I can't wait to see that statistic come out.
Yeah.
Because there's more and more every year, especially in Florida. Sorry, Michelle. A helmet rules during practice. So if you're young and cute, stay that way. You got to wear a helmet.
This is bananas.
We don't care about the older guys.
This is bananas. Can I read it? Do you mind if I read it?
Yeah.
Changes to who is allowed to not wear a helmet during the warm-up have been made for the upcoming season. Previously, it was only a suggestion for players to wear a helmet during warm-up. Now, if a player entered the league after 2019, they are required to wear a helmet during warm-up. So you don't have to wear a helmet during your warm-up if you were in the league before 2019. But if you're new, you do. Why do they only want to protect the new guys? Like, are they saying that if you've been in the league long enough, you're good at your head avoiding pucks? Like, this just seems so dangerous.
Probably because most of them are still minors.
Or I was gonna say, did they all like volunteer to dedicate their brains to science for like CTE? Like, is that like in the
it's just a
bargaining
warm-up
agreement
thing? I don't know.
It's bananas to me that like you wouldn't want to wear a helmet.
Well, during warm-ups, they're not doing anything. I mean, most of the guys we see don't really wear helmets during warm-ups.
But you never know what happens. Someone's not paying attention.
Well, I mean, the goalie wears their helmet, but they're not really doing much. I mean, some of them are wearing them. I don't know. Now it's something to pay attention to. It's just one of those things I haven't really paid attention to. But next game, let's pay attention.
I guess at least it's a step in the right direction that it's more than a suggestion. It's now like they're.
Why would they limit it? Yeah, I mean, why would they limit it? Let's just make it for everybody. That's just so weird. Isn't that what got us in trouble in a couple other things? Just make it for everybody.
Just make it for exactly.
Just make it a rule.
I think back to 1994 when the Rangers won the cup and Craig McTavish was still the one guy playing without a helmet. And when you watch it, it's bananas to me that he would be playing. Everyone else is wearing helmets except for him. Like that's
and he survived. I mean, go back in time with some of those older pictures from the 40s and 50s or 60s or whatever, and those goalies and players have just scars, and they still played.
Yeah, and I guess the technology and the research gets better every season, but it does not seem like rocket science when you have flying projectiles that you might want to protect your head.
Our guys are so good looking. I think they all wear their helmets. So they know they got pretty faces. So
Okay, so quick question. Out of all the Rangers and all the Penguins too, who is the one who'd be like, I need to wear the thickest helmet because I have the prettiest face?
Oh my God.
I totally think it's
Miller.
Mika. Oh, Miller, 100%, because you know that Miller has a modeling career as his plan B, so he cannot afford when D-Fense goes south this year. Don't quote me on this, but if it does, he has his backup. Sarah and I actually were chatting earlier today about like what players do post their NHL career, and if you have a busted up face, it's hard to be a model.
Yeah. So, and he's working that right now as hard as he can. So, yeah.
I would say Carlson for Pittsburgh. And if we can include Spezza, because isn't he consulting or something for Pittsburgh? He was well known for being very concerned about his looks when he was in the OHL.
Like hair. Hold on, I gotta give this guy a Google. How do you spell his last name?
Spezza, Spezza. ZZ. ZZ.
That's a Canadian thing.
Sorry.
Canadians.
I do say processing now, though.
Oh, yeah. See, processes and just weird word.
Yeah.
I have weird conversations with my girlfriend who mispronounces everything.
I think it's Carlson. I really don't think there's anybody else on this roster that's worthy of that title.
What about? I think Crosby would be a little precious. I mean, at this age, no, he's made it this far. His face hasn't fallen off. Oh yeah, Carlson for sure.
Malkin's the one skating around for sure without the helmet on.
Like, without it. I think for the Rangers.
Hey, what's another concussion?
I think for the Rangers, not wearing it might be Trouba. I could just picture him like taking it off and just rolling into everybody.
Yeah, because he would the puck would break. He's kind of like earning, a higher status of being like the tough guy,
Yes. Okay. What other rules are we changing this year?
We're looking at some illegal stick penalties. I haven't seen those in a long time, but they're saying that they've, and I don't know like the details, but they've simplified this year, putting all the rules under a different rule, 10.8, whichever that is. And basically it's allowing the refs to make more fair illegal stick penalty calls on players. So that's another thing to kind of watch out for. We can look at that. I think next time we'll do some predictions and stuff to see, think about that too, as far as like rough predictions and how they're going to go too. But, ever since like McSorley days where, they had the illegal curvature on the stick, let's see what kind of happens if they're going to call some of these penalties.
That came up a few times this season with players who had a couple of them, I think, had the wrong color tape. I can't remember if you needed black or white or something like that, but a couple of times. And I remember hearing the announcers talking about how it was not being called. So I guess they're going to crack down on it. I'm just looking at Rule 10.8 for anyone who's curious. An illegal stick is defined as one following a measurement is deemed not conforming to the league rules. It is also defined as when one player has not been legally handed one by his player's bench or from a teammate. So because if it's not a legal handoff. And finally, an illegal stick is anytime a player on the ice attempts to play the game with an opponent's stick. And then also there was the issue of playing with a broken stick too.
Right.
I think was called a couple of times.
That's its own rule there. Yeah. So broken stick is different than an illegal stick. So, so that's fun.
But the important thing is that they're paying attention to their sticks. And
I'm curious to see, like,
Here's our title.
we missed like the obvious stuff that we really wanted to see changes in, but it's okay. So then we're kind of going down to more minor things. Terminology, you kind of referred to it earlier. Linesman is going to be now linesperson. Fouls are now infractions.
Can we just go back to linesman and linesperson? I really do appreciate how progressive the NHL is in renaming this.
They need a lot of work in the other areas.
But there's some other work that they need to do overall. But hey, at least we're going in the right direction. So yay, Bettman.
Yeah. So I want people to chirp. Like,
I'm sorry. I mean that person.
That person. Yeah, I want to hear some good chirps like this season for that too. So that'll be kind of fun. So I need to get closer to the ice for those things. So that'll be fun. I like this one. A redundant, the puck has been dropped, has been omitted from the rule, which is in regard to goal review procedures, as the rule already states that no review can happen once the play has resumed. So they're just saying resuming play is the same as dropping the puck. That took them how long to figure out? Obviously it's not a woman writing this. We would have known this for a long time.
Yes.
Just saying, us skirts, which we'll address later.
Yes.
And then another rule, 49.2, goes over kicking the puck into the net. Now refers back to another rule, which goes over all the types of disallowed goals. So I don't know what kind of bearing that's going to have. We already have an issue. You're not supposed to be kicking a puck in the goal, but we've seen several goals count with that, even with a review. So again, that'll be another fun thing to watch over the season. And who's going to have the most unfair advantage? Like everyone complains, like we get no breaks, So I'll be curious to see which team complains the most, about that. Just tripping infractions kind of goes back to another rule, which covers awarded goals when there's an infraction committed by a defending player when a goaltender is with a goaltender being pulled, with the net purposely dislodged and on penalty shots. So they're just refining some things. Another kind of thing with outlining tripping infractions and covers types of disallowed goals, now refers back to another rule. So they've kind of just fine-tuned some of the other one, just kind of referring back to other rules. No other rule changes on that. So we'll see. And it gives, what we're seeing is that there's one or two other things that the refs have to kind of keep their eye on: sticks, offsides, making sure both skates are off the ice when they enter, and so it just gives them a couple more things to pay attention to, and another couple more things where people are going to yell at them for. So yay!
Awesome. I want to share one really nice comment that we got. We got some from Nick Marshall. Hi, Nick. Oh, snap, Liz, Sarah, and Christine. Awesome. New listener, not a Rangers fan, but I'm a Devils fan. That's okay. We can agree to disagree. Love the show. Hopefully we get some PWHL news.
I'll be at the game on Thursday, so I will not be rooting for your team, but I won't be yelling against your team either. So fair deal.
I'm excited, Nick, to see a non-Rangers fan here. So welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
And we are expanding, too. Yes. I mean, we're just Rangers fans, but we do love to talk about the entire league. And, and as we are kind of entering our second kind of active season, our third season, summer was the second season. We're going to have more focus on things outside of like what we kind of know. So we're going to get into a little bit of more of an uncomfortable zone, learning more as we go. So now you just have to, rein in your Hughes brothers, and then just lose to us, and then life is good.
It'll be fine.
We're good.
We're excited to have you, and we're always open to hearing your thoughts. Maybe.
Yeah. So we have that. I know our current story too has, I have to look at their names too. We actually had 2 women coaches during the preseason games, one on Sarah's Penguins team. So excited to see. Again, we are having the Professional Women's Hockey League. They are gathering. I think since our last podcast, they had the draft. They have 6 teams. They've created the teams. They've actually announced their coaches. Actually, each team had their own personal messages that go out. I actually love their Instagram sites and how they're doing things. It's fantastic. The season's due to start in January. So we're going to kind of look. I want to look and see if we can get a hold of some of these players, get them on the show. Let's talk about what they feel, what the season's going to bring for them. And they're still setting up where they're going to play. We got a New York team that may be playing in Connecticut, as the last we heard. So we're definitely following all of that to see how that's going to start. But we actually introduced 2 women coaches during the preseason, first time ever in the NHL. And Liz will follow up with the fact that maybe some people really aren't liking that.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to read about the women who were coaching. I think the other one was Seattle Kraken. which is super exciting. But then today, just in scrolling through the Facebook message boards as one do, somebody posted, I'm just going to hold up my phone. It's probably the easiest way to do it. And it says, the Seattle Kraken has hired a skirt behind their bench. I'm sure all the guys will listen to her, with a bunch of laughing emojis. I want to point out also the grammar in here and the punctuation is terrible.
It's always perfectly
always
bad.
terrible. And I'm sure people are saying this kind of stuff to stir the pot. But I'm very curious if men are genuinely offended. And we don't normally get into too much detail on this podcast, just in terms of like what the trolls on the message boards are saying. But I find it so problematic and just so interesting that this seems to be so inflammatory, a decision that would cause people to write stuff like that. But I do want to give credit to the person who posted this great note back. Hey, ladies of the group, notice the guy that's bashing this news or making fun of it? Yeah, those are the guys that won't do that thing you like. And then somebody else said, or they'll do it, but badly. So I do appreciate the banter. It's very interesting to kind of watch all of this unfold. I feel like we're sort of living through this almost like historical time where the roles are changing. Genders is mattering less. And if you have great people who know what they're doing, I think it's awesome. It's just strange to see this pushback.
Not unexpected, with the troll. I mean, and I think these guys are just trolls. But even generally speaking, some of the other things, so we won't go down the other rabbit hole that's more obvious. But it's also the ignorance and lack of understanding, knowledge, that people have and stuff too. I mean, first of all, there's a lot of women that are already involved, in the NHL, and they're on the bench. You got even the Kings have it.
Trainers and
they're equipment managers, they're trainers, and then with the PWHL, they're actually, I think 4 of the 6 teams have women coaches that are being introduced too, which is fantastic. And so bringing the women on, and let me just, to the troll or the other trolls that may be out there, to have a team actually, bring them on to do that. They didn't just pick them out. These are women that have been in the business for quite some time and are very familiar with the players. And you know what? They did listen to her. So take that, because that's what they're going to listen to the coach. So, so trolls are just jealous,
And just because you can't see the women all the time involved in the organizations or the league itself, they're there. Agents, PR people, social media, all things that we count on as fans to get our news and updates from, as well as like anything from like your player interviews to like specials, anything you're watching on broadcast or streaming. I'm guaranteeing that there's women involved in that production to getting that content out there. So it's 2023. Like that is, we don't have room or time or space to have these conversations and like just get with the program. Like, is it that hard?
I know. It's they're just jealous because the women are smarter.
and we've talked about this on this podcast, we're offering a different perspective, and I don't think that's ever a bad thing. Fresh eyes on anything is positive. So don't be haters. Let's see what happens and judge everyone on their merit.
It's a curious thing too, which I don't know. I'll have to figure out if I want to do the homework for it, but I'm not sure. I'm not seeing any of the other sports do like have the women, frontline coaching. I'm not hearing this in basketball or in baseball or in football. So really hockey kind of, they are progressive. We're changing terms. We're it's not a matter of just involving them. They're recognizing them more. And from teams you don't expect. I'm like the Penguins. I'm like, okay, I have to give them kudos as much as I don't like them. So that's good, and yeah, we're going to give credit where credit's due for things. So again, it's a, and even during the All-Star game, when they're bringing in some fantastic women players to contribute and play alongside everybody. If you have not seen a women's hockey game, you'd be amazingly surprised how freaking good it is. you'd be surprised. They check, they get down, they get dirty, they play dirty when they need to, and they're fast. So they're pretty amazing. Again, we talked about this with my son when he's on there too, growing up with playing hockey and playing against the girls, where they're busy all checking each other. The girls still are learning skills and can learn to skate around the guys and won, even though he doesn't think he, lost them. He actually did. So, yeah, Sarah Nurse is probably one of your top players, but there's so many other ones that are really good and up and coming and well known within the women's league. I'm learning more about it too, because I was introduced to a women's hockey game when they did their tour around the United States last year. My son actually took me, and it was fantastic. And so it's basically that tour, I think, that escalated the creation of this league, because it's the same players and stuff all being drafted, throughout each of the teams, 3 of them in the United States and 3 of them in Canada. So that'll be very exciting to see how that's going to unfold. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to keep you posted on it, and we're definitely following it, because I think right now we aim to be the #1 podcast that's going to report on that for sure.
Definitely.
You're the #1 fans for them.
On that note, today's episode was always going to be short and sweet. Please watch this space. We have a lot of exciting things planned and coming up, including a new logo, which may be debuting soon, as well as some exciting news. Yep, it is, as well as some other exciting news about our podcast in general. And yes, we are going to be following the women's league for sure, and reporting on that with any new information that we have.
And definitely before we go, Sarah and I will both be in New York City this week. I will be at the Rangers Devils game on Thursday night.
If you're there when Jeffrey's there, because he's there now. I think they're about to play the Islanders.
Oh yeah, the Islanders game is okay. Yeah. Jeffrey, all right, we have to meet up. So pregame at Molly Wee's, 5 to 7. I'll be at the game, and then I'll be post-gaming at Mustang Harry's. If anyone's around, pretty easy to find. You see what I look like? Yeah. I look the same in person. So
and over here, we need T-shirts. When we get that new logo finalized.
Oh yeah.
I think we need a merch store.
Yes, absolutely.
We need T-shirts. I mean, I like other people's shirts. I can add to my collection at all times. So getting ready. I'll come back and pull out all my Ranger stuff. So yay.
Well, thanks everyone. Thanks, ladies. Have a very safe trip to New York, you two. I am so jealous. I will be with you in spirit. And then next week, we'll hear all about your trip. We'll report on new information, and hopefully the Rangers will have won a preseason game by then.
So look for some live updates on our Instagram account. If you're not following our Instagram account, it is D-Fense NYR. And so, if you're listening here, come follow us on Instagram if you're not.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.